Ba-ba-dum. All right, what's up, stream? How's everyone doing today? My name's Coy. Woo! Yeah, like a round of applause. We're back with episode 3 of the Creationist podcast. Welcome.
Woo! Round of applause too.
Today we have special guests LG Divinity and Jipscy.
Hi.
That wasn't me. That one wasn't me.
And then we also have Trickstar and Tyler here for a little bit. Yay! All right. This is an exciting episode because we got some of your favorite people here, as you all can tell. We can just start around the table here. We'll go with Jipscy. So you can tell us a little about yourself. What your name is, and how long you've been editing. Maybe like sort of like people you've worked with or something.
For sure. Yeah.
Hold on. Your mic is a little bit loud here. I could turn it down a little bit.
Not too bad.
My bad.
Let's do like a little bit here. That should be fine. Okay, you can go.
Okay, so I'm Jipscy. I was in 3rd Gen Red, LOL, and I was in Dare and Obey recently, if you guys didn't know already.
Yes.
I left Obey, Pepe hands, and I just edit COD and want to plan on working on some new stuff in the future. I've been editing for about, I would say, like, in the beginning first 2 months of BO3, so not too long, but, yeah, I don't know. That's me.
Love it.
All right, Divinity.
Yo, what's going on, guys? My name is Ryan, or Divinity, as you know, and I've been editing since about early 2010. Kind of got into a little bit of editing when I picked up a camera after I watched my friend trick shot. We were at his apartment, and we were playing on Afghan, and he hit a trick shot, and then I was like, oh my god, that's crazy. I want to learn how to do that. So I went home, and there was I went on YouTube and I saw how to trick shot, and I was like, what the fuck? So I started watching it. And there was a video attached, like montages, and I was like, oh my god, that's crazy. I gotta go try that. So I picked up a camera and I started recording my clips. Next thing I know, editing, and we're here now, 10 years later, fucking editing for Luminosity, and it's going well, and I'm happy to be here on the podcast with Coy and Jipscy, and our two boys, Trickster and Tyler.
All right,
Big fan.
Beast. Yay!
I'm a big fan.
10-year anniversary, Sally.
All right, Trickstar.
Hello, I am Stalk. I'm only 15 years old, so I'm still pretty young, and I've been editing for like 2.5, 3 years. And recently I got picked up to Obey, but before that I was in like all these other little teams. But yeah, I still have a long way to go. So yeah, that's about it.
Yay!
Woo! Love it. 2 years and a god.
Tyler.
Alright, what's up guys? I'm Tyler. I've been in the community since I'd say 2012, bit on and off. Came back around November 2018, I think, and yeah, went from there. Released Boredom, joined Parallel, which was pretty cool opportunity.
Hey.
And yeah, that's it. And then I quit, moving into videography and photography, and yeah, that's about it.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yay! So as you can see, we obviously have a lot of great people here. First, we're going to start out with Trickstar and Tyler to say a few words about Australia, because they are your local Australian homies and editors. We are currently raising money to save the koalas and whatnot with the WWF Australia. So the link should be in the description, or whatever you want to call those panels area, to donate. And you can also do !donate to straight to the WWF, and that'd be really cool if you did. So you can start with Trickstar. If you're going to describe a little bit about what's going on here, what the issue is.
Yeah. So basically, there's like heaps of land being burnt and stuff, but nothing has directly impacted me. You know, it's mostly like, oh, there's like ash all over the road, there's burnt leaves flying into my house and whatnot. But you know, the air quality has dropped massively. It's like worse than most countries nowadays.
It's not
It's
like
not really
equivalent
good.
to smoking like
Yeah,
a pack
it's
of
like,
cigarettes. Like it's full on.
It's terrible.
and like over 500 million animals or something have been dead,
I thought it was like a billion.
and something like that. I don't
It's
know. And like
massive. Yeah.
recently,
God.
they're starting to kill camels because they drink too much water, and we need that water. So I don't know. It's pretty sad, but
There's camels in Australia. That's something new.
yeah, they drink
Yeah.
like way too much water, so they're beginning to slaughter them. Sadly, but
Jeez.
yeah, I don't know.
Save
But,
our
like-
planet, guys, and donate.
Yeah.
Save the planet,
Recently-
boys.
Recently, it's been raining though for like 4 days, so hopefully that makes
that's
it easier.
good.
For
A
it
lot
to
of people are
great.
saying it's
stuff.
due to the fires though, just like because of I don't know something to do with like I don't even know. Like there's like full storms and shit. Like it's lightning.
Wow.
Climate change.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, climate change. But yeah,
It's pretty weird. People have also like light fires on purpose and shit, which is weird. Like
Jeez.
people that are close to me, like
Assholes.
5 minutes away from me, they started fires on purpose, which is really
Mhm.
stupid.
What?
But they get like sentenced to jail for like a long time. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you should.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, killing wildlife.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, what the fuck?
yeah, it's messed up. But
Mhm.
I don't know. Tyler can talk a bit about his experience, I guess.
yeah. So I'm impacted differently, like to Trickster, because he lives on the east. Is it East Coast? Yeah.
Yeah.
Of
yeah.
Australia, so the fires through that region is like a lot more severe. But I'm in South Australia, so we've got an island off South Australia, Kangaroo Island, which is probably our biggest tourism area, and that's I think it's three quarters already burnt down completely.
Oh my God.
It's like
That's
I think it's like
insane.
170,000 hectares burnt. And a few of my like real life friends, they have properties over there. They were fighting that, and like I saw some photos, and it was just like full on. He's fully scarred from it as well.
Jeez.
It's just upsetting, like seeing like people I knew over there, like
It's your
got
home,
killed.
you know?
There was two people who my friend directly knew, and
Yeah.
they got burnt in the fires, and it's just like
Jeez.
Oh, wow.
pretty
So
horrific.
sorry.
So yeah, and then we had in the hill region, because like everything in Australia is really close. So there's the beach and the hills, and they're both like 20 minutes away from each other.
Hmm.
And the hills, I think it was around Christmas, they caught a light and spread pretty wildly because I think it was a 42 degree day with severe winds, and just, thank God that's gone now. But yeah, heaps of land was impacted, heaps of houses were gone, and it's just it's devastating.
Yeah,
To see.
seriously, no kidding.
Yeah,
Yeah, one thing I keep stressing is like a lot of people don't realize that Australia is the same size as America. And if the fires are happening like all over, I mean, just imagine what it would be like if it was over here, right?
yeah.
Absolutely.
It's like imagine the whole like northwest side being burnt. Like
I can't.
Washington being gone.
Oh my God.
I mean, that's how it is.
Yeah, that's what I'm
It's
saying.
just-
Like
it's
that's
just continuous
comparable.
Flames, yeah. And like the winds, because of
It's-
the winds, it's spreading like fast
Just like-
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't even like you look at a tree, right, and you can't even imagine just a tree being on fire. Imagine seeing
Exactly.
like thousands of trees on fire. It's just like
It's like hell.
mind blowing.
Yeah, that one photo of like the road and it was like all green and then the after was like all gone.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I saw
I'm
that.
pretty sure
Jeez.
that's the road Tyler's.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's it's in
Wasn't that
Kangaroo
good?
Island. Yeah, it's the long. Yeah, I know the one.
That's like
But yeah.
my uncle. His area was like really bad, and they were in risk, so they had to come stay with us for like a week. That
Mhm.
was pretty bad. And, like it's risky because if you stay, you don't know what could happen.
Right.
of how fast the fire spread and stuff. So it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And like many schools have been shut down as well for
Oh, I can
a
imagine.
while until it settles down. But like, whereas my school, they just decided to hand out masks, which is pretty stupid. It's
Holy
really
shit.
stupid. Yeah.
Yeah, but thankfully. Well,
Yeah,
I don't
we're
know
on
about
break.
Trickster and me, but like thankfully we haven't been affected personally by it, which
Yeah.
is
Very
like,
fortunate.
gratitude. Like
Yeah.
thoughts go towards all the people who've been affected,
Right.
because there definitely would be some people in this community
Mm-hmm.
who have been affected by it personally. Just
Yeah, so make sure you guys definitely, if you guys can in the chat, if you want to donate, just
Yeah.
up towards this cause.
Anything helps.
Well, thank you guys for sharing. Make sure to go follow him on Twitter at Trickstar, at Tyler A. Gerard. I say that right?
Yeah.
And once again, donations links in the description, and please help anything you can. But we're gonna get to our main event here. Jipscy and Divinity are our special guests once again. So while we start up here, we're going to ask them how they got into editing and all that kind of jazz. We are going to ask the chat to ask all of you guys, ask us questions. Hopefully you got some interesting thoughts here that we can expand on, rant on some of the things that you might be interested in.
Ask some questions, guys.
So we'll start with Jipscy. So how did you get involved with editing and that kind of whole thing?
Okay, so basically how it started was when I first joined the community. It was back in MW3 when Pamaj released one of his perfectionist montages. At the time, I was just being a player. Like I was just being a 13-year-old sniping or whatever. Just having fun. And I'd really enjoy from that point on, I enjoyed watching edits. Just like enjoyed watching them. I didn't edit myself though, but over time I became like a director or like whatever you call them, a content creator, whatever you call them now. But and then I went to streaming and stuff, and the whole time I really enjoyed watching montages. Like it was I used to watch montages, binge them like I do now, just even when I was an editor. So I'd watch like ill cams and like old ill cams where I just rewatch them over and over again, and I would watch like phase montages, I would watch like red montages, obey montages, all like that. And right around the BO3 time when like Myth was coming up and Obey was starting to come up too, wasn't that like right around Modern Warfare Remaster when like Obey started to really kick off? So like right around then I was like, hey, I want to try getting into editing. Like I actually want to try it now. And at the time, my biggest inspiration was probably Philly and Owen. If you guys don't know who Owen, he used to be in Red. Surprising if you guys didn't know him, but
He used to be in Phase.
Yeah, Phase Owen. But he was like my biggest inspiration to start editing, and so I started editing with like his kind of tone, as long with Philly. And then I kind of just like did that on the side while I was still streaming, just for fun. Wasn't very serious or anything. Just like my friends and I would just make little montages or whatever. And then I'd say like around the end of probably the beginning of World War II is when I really started. I started like consistently making edits, like probably one every like month or so. Like
I remember that.
Yeah, just for my friends though. It wasn't for anything serious or anything. And then I made a squad taj for my friends and I. We call ourselves Boulade, and I made a little squad taj, just like a little tiny edit. And Nitro, who's in Store now, but used to be in Synergy at the time, he saw the edit and he was like, hey, I want you to edit my Colossus montage. It was like his big World War II montage. It was a super huge project. It was like 70 clips or something. And I was like, that'd be awesome, because at the time I wasn't in a team. I was just solo and I didn't know anyone. So I was like, a Synergy player wants me to edit? Yeah, of course, that's awesome. So I edit for him. Took me like 2 months to edit this really long montage for him, and it literally came out like the first day of 2018 Anaheim, which is the day I met Divinity in person.
Yeah, I remember that.
weird timing. And I was like, yo, Divinity, look at this montage I made, because I wasn't in any teams or anything. I was so small, and I was like, dude, look at this montage I made, it's so cool. and you're just like, oh yeah, man, that's
Yeah, I
cool.
remember.
But then yeah, no, and then I was there with Expect because I just like when I talked to Expect, it is more of like we were
Yeah,
just
Expect was like, yo, I gotta meet you to introduce you to this amazing editor. Come follow me, Divinity. It's like, okay.
basically I just knew to expect from just like talking to him because I just talked to him like as a friend. I would just ask him about like what his life was about because I was really interested like in his movie series where he'd like review movies or whatever. I actually enjoyed watching those, and so that's how I first started talking to him. And then we kind of just like went on from there, like how you become friends with people, obviously. And so we ended up staying at Anaheim together, and then I got introduced to all the Obey editors, which at the time I was like, those are my fucking idols in editing. I was like, these guys are the gods. So that was a huge moment for me, which like I'll get to the point of that later, but
Yeah.
what it was really cool meeting them. And then Colossus comes out. It did all right. Obviously, it wasn't very good because it was like one of my first like serious edits I ever made. It was cool though. But at that Anaheim though, when I met all of them, I talked to like Expect and Divinity, like specifically Divinity, a lot about like, hey, I really want to just get into editing and like kind of be done with streaming because I'm getting like I just really enjoy editing. I love being creative. I like making montages, as nerdy as it sounds. I just love doing it. It's so fun in my opinion. I still love doing it now. But so I Divinity was like, yeah, do it. Like you should just dedicate to just editing. It'd be cool. And so I did that. And so BO4 came out, and during the beta of BO4, I released an edit. It was I forget what it's called, but it's some Tupac song, and I released it, and it like blew up on Twitter. And it was
Yeah, I remember that one.
it was a terrible edit. It was awful.
Which one was that? I forget.
I think it's California or something. I don't remember what
Yeah.
it was, but it was a really bad edit. But it blew up on Twitter, and so from that point, I was like literally that day, I was like, I'm not being a streamer anymore. Like I took streamer out of my bio, took my Twitch out of my bio. I was like, I'm only being an editor from this point on. And so literally like the next week, like the next, because BO4 when they had the beta, it was like one weekend and then they closed it off for the week, and then the next weekend they had the beta again. And that next weekend, my best friend Adam and I, we both joined Hype together. And I joined as an editor and he joined as a player or a streamer or something. So that was a huge moment for me because that was the first team I joined as an editor. And it was Hype because at the time, like I said before, like Myth was coming up, and so it was like Trip and Nixie. And so like when I joined Hype, I was like, holy shit, like these guys I used to look up to, now I'm joining their team, which is really cool.
That's awesome.
It was really cool. It was a cool moment.
Yeah.
And then I joined Hype, and I got a lot of good feedback from that. I'm trying to think. So from there, I kind of just like slowly was like making edits, releasing them once in a while, and a lot of people probably, if they know me already, probably know about the Red RC. When that came out, I wasn't planning on going for it. I was just kind of like, I'm not good enough to join Red. There's no way, because I was still like new to like being an editor.
Absolutely.
So like, there's no way I could join. I was like, it's impossible. So I was like, but you know what? I need something to edit, so I might as well just go for it, and I might as well just go all out, because better go. What's the saying? I don't remember what it is.
I think I know what you're talking about though.
Yeah, but
Like you'll never get the opportunity if you don't try.
Yeah.
No, I went full send. I was like, if I'm gonna do it, I gotta go full send. And so I literally spent like the last 4 days of the Red RC.
Oh yeah, Blink said go hard or go home.
Yeah, go hard or go home. I just like went like ham. I stayed up for like 2 days straight working on that edit, which is called Sugar. I grinded my ass off on that edit. I went super hard on that edit, and it didn't turn out. I look back at it now, it wasn't that great, but it was my best edit at the time. It was really good for me. And so it came out, did really, really good. People loved it, and I was like, this is crazy. Like, what? This is nuts. And then I got a bunch of like feedback from like Red members, and I was like, dude, this is crazy. It's way better than I expected. And then around that
Makes me
time,
happy just listening to it.
there's so many editors like Divinity, Expect, Philly, Cogif, a bunch of OG like Brana and like Havoc and all these like OG people that I like grew up like watching were all like, dude, this is like really cool. Like you did a really good job on this. And then Cogif at the time was doing a project for Brana, which is now known as Mamacita on my channel, but it was Best of Brana. It's supposed to be with just him and Nuki, but he was like, hey man, I don't have time to do this edit. I would really, really be happy if you took it for me. And I was like, holy shit, the Kogif just asked me to take an edit for him.
Yeah.
I was like, this is great. Like, what the fuck?
That's
So
amazing.
I was like, dude, of course, yeah. He's like, it needs to be done in a week and a half, and it has to be good because it's his last montage. I was like, oh shit, okay. And then after that, I found it was with a Nuki. I was like, holy crap, a Nuki also? Like, what is going on?
Oh
So
my god.
These happen so fast.
it was
Yeah,
literally
seriously.
it was like a week and a half of like this time span. It was insane. So I literally like it was during finals week in school, so I grinded my ass off, got this montage out for Red. It was my first Red upload, and it was with Brana, which is a player I really liked. It was really cool because it was just like all this stuff was going on at once. It was just crazy build up.
Right.
And then also during that week when I was editing that, I sent a preview of it to Green because he wanted a preview. I was like, hey man, like here's a preview of the edit. I hope you like it.
yeah.
And he was like, hey, actually, do you think you could edit Swipers introducing after that? Would you be down for that? I was like,
just
yeah,
like
of course.
domino effect just kept happening.
It was insane, dude. So I was like,
Yeah.
of course, yeah, I'll do it. And he's like, okay, it's me done like a week or two after Brana's comes out. I was like, okay, yeah, of course I'll do it right away. Yeah. So I take it. I finished Brana's project. Did really well. People really liked it. And Nuki liked it. It was really cool because it was like I was just building up and more. All these letters I like look up to even now, or just like complimenting me. And it was just like this crazy feeling. And then I did Swipers introducing, but it didn't come out because there wasn't enough clips. So it was like postponed for a really long time, like a month or two or whatever, however long it was. So I finished it, wasn't long enough, and so they're like, hey, we're gonna have him get some more clips, we'll send it to you right away, and then you'll do it, okay? And I was like, perfect, bang. And then one night, Swiper's like, hey, I'm gonna send you some clips in the morning, and you can finish it off like in the next 2 days. I was like, oh, yeah, of course, yeah, I got it. And Green messaged me, and he was like, hey, what's your Discord? And I was like, oh, shit, okay. And I gave him my Discord.
What's happening?
And he sent me a friend request, and a lot of people will know this reaction, but sends me a friend request, invites me to the lads Discord, which of course is filled with like all these fucking crazy people that I idolized forever.
Right.
I was like, dude, what is going on? I'm still fanboying over all this. So I joined this Discord. It's Twyman, and I was like, hi, Twyman.
oh my god.
He was like, dude, I really like the edit you did for Brana. It was really cool. And all of them were just like, yeah, it was really good. And then Green was like, so Swiper said you send you the clips tomorrow, of course, right? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it right away. He was like, hey, do you think you'd change something real quick? And I was like, yeah, of course. He was like, do you think you changed the intro from Jipscy to Red Jipsy?
Dude.
I flipped my shit. I freaked out. Like, I'm sure people have seen that video before, my reaction. It's on Twitter. I can find it some point and retweet it if people want to find it. But it was really funny. Joined Red. It was crazy. Like the biggest, like it was the craziest feeling I've ever had. It was, I don't know how to explain it. It's just COD editing, I know, but it was like something I was
because you worked so hard for.
I was so passionate about it. I really, really to this day love editing. It is like I want it to be my life's career. I want, like, even if it's not COD editing, but just like editing in general, it's my favorite.
Absolutely, Blank. He does deserve it.
And so I joined Red. It was crazy. And then like a month or so goes by, I start working on the Red team Taj for the whatever it was. I was doing it with Flames. I don't know if people know who Flames is, but he was in Synergy for a while last year or wherever it was. And then I get like the first half of it done or whatever. And then out of nowhere, Red ended because of financial issues and stuff like that. And so everyone just dipped.
Yeah.
And so I didn't get to do this edit I was wanting to do really badly. And I genuinely think if I did do that edit, it would have still been my best edit to this day because I was so, like, I really wanted that edit to be good. And I was trying so hard on that edit, but it never came out. So that's fine. So left Red. Time went by, made like an edit or two for something. I don't remember what it was. It's something little.
Yeah.
So I get offered Dare. I think it was because of you, Divinity, or something. Because I got a random offer for Dare. They're like, hey, do you want to join Dare? And I was like, yeah, that'd be dope. Because a bunch of people from Red went to Dare. And I was like, yeah, it'd be cool. Go with all those guys. And it was just random. So I'm assuming Divinity has something to do with it. He hasn't told me to this day. I think he did, though. So I joined Dare. Dare goes by all this, I make a couple edits and stuff. And then, let me think. Oh, so the Obey ER comes. Okay. This is just this last year. It was like last June or something. Obey ER comes around. It was this big thing. Everyone was like, "Oh my god, an Obey editor is gonna join!" Like, whoa, what the heck? Because no one had been recruited to Obey for an editor in like 2 years or something. It was
Yeah, sorry about that.
It was it was forever.
It's kind of picky.
No, you're good.
It's all your fault.
Yeah, right?
Obey comes around, and I was like, I have too many projects right now. I'm not gonna go for it. And also, Obey standards are just so extremely high that there's no way I could join. And Divinity was like, "No, man, like you gotta go for it. You have to go for the Obey yard." And I was like, "I'm not gonna." He's like, "Dude, I'm telling you, you'll kill it if you go for it." And I was like, because Divinity knew that Obey was a gold mine for a really long time, like way back. It was a huge gold mine to join Obey. And so he's like, "Dude, go for it because you'll kill it. I know you have the motivation to do it." And I was like, "Okay, fine. I'll make an edit. I'll make a response." I made it in like, what was it, 2 days, Ryan, or something like that?
Yeah, it was
I
like
made
2
it.
days.
I made it really quick.
Snapped.
I did a really good job on it, and I released it. It's called Time on my channel. Obey ER comes out. People were like, "This is crazy. This is really good," and I was like, "Oh, cool, dude. Thanks, guys." And so that comes out. Then the results come out. I win the bracket, so I get in the bracket with like 8 other editors or something like that. And then second round comes around of that Obey ER. People don't know it's like a bracket, and like editors face off each other, and they join Obey at the end of it. It's
Right.
kind of So the next round comes around. It's Apex. I go against Panda, and I win. Or no, it was Fortnite. I went against who was it was A7V. Won against him. Next round was Apex. Against Panda, won against him, and then the last round was against Sparky on Fortnite again, and I won against him and joined Obey, which is my edit called Shine, which is like almost my most viewed video on my channel.
Yes.
So that edit was today. People think it's my best edit, but I don't think it is. But people really like that edit, which is cool. So that was my build up to joining Obey. Joined Obey, got all this hype and stuff like that, and then FaZe Kitty saw that me during the Obey year, because he technically owns Obey, or he made Obey with Agony, and so he technically owns it, or at some point he did. So he was like, "I've been watching your Obey ERs, and I thought they were really good. Like, would you be down to like make a little edit for my channel for me?" And I was like, "Yeah, that'd be fucking dope. Like, of course." But I was like, "You have to wait until after the Obey ER because I don't have enough time right now." He's like, "Yeah, of course, whatever." So I make an edit for him, and it was a I don't remember what it was called. Whatever it is called, make it for him. And then that comes out. People were like, "Oh, this is really cool," or whatever. And then another edit I did for him was after I joined Obey. Crap, I'm trying to remember the timing. Anyways, I made 2 edits for him at some point. The second one did way better than the first, so people really liked that. And then time went by. I did a couple projects in Obey. What else did I do, Ryan? You know better than I do. You have a better
I
memory.
mean,
than me.
you did the stuff, a lot of stuff for like Kitty and them. Too,
Yeah,
so.
I did it. Oh, this is a big one. So I did a project with Philly and Selene, which, like I said before, when I first started editing, Philly was like the number one dude for me. Like Owen and Philly were like the 2 dudes, my top 2s. So that was a huge moment for me. It was cool to do a project with him. It was like, to this day, I still really look up to his edits. They're awesome. So that was cool when I was in Obey. And then time kind of just went by. I did a project for Nitro when he joined Soar, and that is my personal favorite edit I made. And then for Cloud, but up called Golden Heart.
Wait, Jesse.
Favorites.
Hello? You okay?
Jesse, your mic's cutting out a little bit.
Oh, can you?
Jesse, what's going on?
Leave and come back. You're kind of a robot.
Here, wait. Leave and join back. Hello?
Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. You guys hear me?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, okay, we're good.
Anyways, what was I saying?
Beep bop.
I was saying is I made an edit for Nitro and Cloud. They're both introducing. So they didn't go. My 2 first personal favorites I've made. Those come out, and then after like 2 months, something like that, I decided that I was gonna leave Obey because I kind of just am done with just being a COD editor only, and I kind of want to move on to new things and do some new cool stuff that is outside of that stuff. And when I'm in
He's growing
OBA,
up, guys. He's growing up.
I feel like I'm
His time has
restricted
passed.
Yeah.
I'm restricted a lot when I'm like
Yeah.
just COD editing because
Hello?
Hello,
No.
Jesse. Come back. Someone,
I feel like
Alexa,
this is-
cue Titanic music. Jesse, where did you go? Jesse, if you can hear us, leave and join back.
That's rip.
Maybe his stuff just totally did.
Shit.
That's funny.
I'm on my phone now.
Do
Oh,
I take? Oh, there we go. Okay.
I don't
Dude,
know
what
what's-
is savage?
I don't know what's going on. Anyways,
Oh, you're good. You're good. You're good.
what I was saying was that I left Obey because I felt restricted to just like my creativity. I didn't have any motivation to get better or anything, so I decided to leave. And then we're to the point now where I'm just working on some small little stuff, and then I have some projects in the future I plan working on. That's where I'm at now.
Oh yeah.
well, damn.
It's so cool to hear your progression again. I don't
Yeah.
know, just like hearing it like from like things that I didn't know about too is really cool.
Yeah, the craziest thing is how fast it all happened for you.
Yeah, like within like a couple of years, not even.
I mean, the last like year or like year and a half, it's just been like a snowball. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
Cool.
Well, that's really awesome. I want to say thank you to Sully for the $20 donation. He says already donated
Oh,
last
thank you,
week,
Sully.
but want to
Thank
donate a
you.
little more as much as I can. So we really appreciate that. And
Sully.
we can move on to your story now, Divinity.
Oh my god, I don't even know where to begin.
There's a lot of experience in there, huh?
Yeah, so like I guess I can like I'm gonna break down like my main points of like I guess like this so-called I guess editing career I guess you can make out of it. But besides what I explained at the beginning, fast forwarding in advance to like kind of revolved around Black Ops 1. I was a spawn trapper, so like I was like a hardcore spawn trapper. I had like 2 PS3s with some friends, and we used to like lay in the spawns, and we used to just hold down like an M60 and just spray through walls to like max out kills and hardcore demolition. Where I discovered that you can not exceed 299 kills in any Call of Duty because if you go to 300, it resets you back to 1. Besides that, while I was doing that, I kind of started to get a little bored of doing it with my friends, so I kind of pissed them off where I would start trick shotting in game and recording trick shots jumping off summit on bots. So like I was like I kind of branched out of that after I started getting into trick shotting a little bit, and I started making Call of Duty teams because I was really loving it, and I met some friends, and I was like I don't know what the fuck was wrong with me, but I kept making teams. Like I couldn't sit with one team, and eventually passing all these other teams and stuff. I landed myself on a team I created called Surge, where I actually tried a lot harder. And before I get into anything else, my name was Divine. I didn't go by Divinity. This was probably like 2013 or 2014, I would say, like early 2014. And I went by Divine. And while I was in Surge, I used to, edit everything because I couldn't find an editor for our team. So I just started focusing more on the editing aspect instead of the leading aspect, which is Divinity was a team where I was. I couldn't focus on the editing. I mean, the teaming leading aspect. So I started becoming a better editor to edit all our stuff. Well, eventually one of my friends saw someone tweet on Twitter, "Hey, I need someone to edit my L7." OCE, as people used to do OCEs, one clip edits, and it was Ion Avia, who was previously in Red, but he asked me, he's like, my friend Blue Jay said, "Hey, my friend, he can edit your video, and he's a good editor. He's my dummy, like like you're a dummy when you trick shot for other people or whatever."
yeah.
But I did his video, and that got me into Refine, which was Sean's team at the time when he was Beat Sean. and eventually it just kind of snowballed from there, where I was starting to do more videos for Avia, and then I did stuff for Bacon and Sean, and then I eventually started doing videos for Red, which is where I met like big editors like Kagef and Dreams and everything like that. I haven't heard the term dummy in years. I was doing all my videos for Red from like 2015 to 2016. I did like 10, I think, for them, and then after that, I went for the Red RC, which I created one of my biggest edits called Alive, which was played on Scarce's stream when he was leading with Formula. And I really thought I was going to join, but I didn't join. And Kagev joined over me, which I'm happy he did, because I'm glad it all worked out that way. Well, I ended up going for the Obey RC when Robot was leading, and I lost because he hated me. He absolutely fucking hated me. I don't know why he did, but I don't know if anyone still likes him. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to go for an Obey RC again. I'm just going to fucking try it. Well, I ended up... there was only going to be 3 winners, and they announced all 3 winners. I don't even remember who joined with me. But I was the 4th winner of... It was like a surprise recruit. Zant, Dreams, and Travi recruited me. And after that, Optimize was also... He also joined Obey with me. Eventually, I was in Obey for a while, and I was working, and I just took this, like, leading role I had from Surge, and I kind of influenced myself to merge it into Obey Studios, where I kind of like was taking over, I guess, for like Dreams, and I became I was kind of like the co-leader from what Jaw told me. He's like if anything happens, we're gonna make you lead editor. Well, I didn't end up becoming lead editor. I left Obey because I was in the middle of moving in with my girlfriend. I was in the middle of like some state. I don't even know where the fuck I was. We were getting some dogs, and I was like, I'm not really feeling editing right now. I'm just not really into it. I had to take a mental break because I was so tired of working, and I worked hard again, and I joined Obey back when Philly was lead editing. He joined right after I left, and Philly ended up joining FaZe. And then I ended up being promoted to lead editor like I was going to be before. And I guess you could say I was in Obey for 4 years or something like that. I can't even keep track anymore. But after I left Obey because I guess last year was kind of my biggest year. I think I did like 13 FaZe montages in like 2 months. And that kind of started escalating more to where I was picking up traction. I feel like, especially, I'm just going to add this in, when you feel like you get an opportunity, just take it, even if you're scared. Don't ever not take an opportunity if it's presented to you. And, yeah, Blink knows the story. Well, I got my first FaZe edit mainly because I posted a GIF of like a Skull Trooper swinging a scythe, and it was like 2 seconds, and Mew saw it. And he's like, do you want to edit my first montage? And I was like, yeah, sure. And he's like, it's going on FaZe. I was like, it's what? I was like, what? I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, this is going on FaZe since, like, this is when Fortnite was first starting to blow up with trickshotting too. And I was like, I'm a COD editor. I can barely fucking edit Fortnite. So, like, I edited this video for him. I think it was a legendary, and it was within like a week and a half because Seabass was wanting updates constantly, so I kind of felt like a little rushed, and I didn't do good with it. I don't think. I mean, I know a lot of people like it, but I don't really like it. But
I feel the same way with projects. Don't worry.
Yeah,
You just know you can do better.
exactly. Well, I'm just gonna like escalate from there. I ended up getting more projects, and Seabass was messaging me, hey, I got another project for you. Here's this. I was like, oh my god, like, am I gonna stay and Obey, or like, am I actually gonna have a shot at FaZe here? And I felt like I should have. I mean, I ended up doing like I did Pramage's video, which I'm really proud of. I did a lot of the new introducings, like High Sky and Jarvis is introducing, but I was like, I'm just gonna take the chance, and I felt like this is one of those times where an opportunity is presented to you, and you know it's scary, but it's there, just try to take it. So I kind of left Obey as I mean I did leave Obey as lead editor and gave it to
Kind of.
ADM. So yeah, hopefully to hopefully join Phase after doing 13 montages, which I feel like I was the Unchained of Red at the time. But for Phase, it just didn't work out. I saw a video where Temper isn't. I saw him and Hex speak about how they aren't recruiting editors to Phase. You can just work under them, which is completely acceptable. I can understand the reasoning now. But from there, I just kind of. That was around May I left, and I mean I did a shit ton of projects. Eventually, around August, I was still a free agent. I started getting stuff for Luminosity. I started with like a little thing for a concert LG Aeolus wanted me to do. And since I work with Julian and Obey, I was doing more stuff for Luminosity. And eventually I did the Richard Sherman video where I worked with I worked on the project to bring Richard Sherman into LG as an ambassador. And eventually I started, I was doing more and more projects, and up to this point I joined LG as of December 31st. I was in LG back in early September. I just wasn't able to announce all the way up till December. But that's pretty much my backstory to where I am now. So
a lot of things happen really quickly for you too.
Yeah, it's just so hard to break every little thing up and just try to remember everything on such a large timeline. But it eventually did start snowballing a lot more. I don't know if it's just like, if it was just me kicking myself in the ass and trying harder, or if it just like spontaneously happened in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I'm just thankful for everything.
Very cool. One thing I'm really interested to hear from you guys, as you've been editing for a long time, and you've gone from either not editing to editing for, just your friends and stuff, to now almost as like a career. How do you think it differs from like per se being in a COD team, now working in a professional environment?
It's really hard to say. I feel like starting off, editing for your friends and stuff like that, I feel like it kind of helps to build your foundation of what you want to be as an editor. If you want to be like, a motion designer or a video editor, montage editor, to up to where it is now, it also helps to build your, I don't know, what's the word, like you're more strict, your discipline with, staying on top of projects to where you can finally join like an actual professional organization to where you're able to, take clients and, stay on top of projects and know your time, you're good with timing. I feel like it just helps build that in a way, if that kind of answers the question.
Mm-hmm.
Really quick, I just wanted to say too, with like difference between like a professional and like a COD team environment, the discipline is a lot greater, but the reward is like astronomically different.
Absolutely.
Like the reward you get, it's much greater than the discipline you get.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I also noticed that you're starting to make your own content, Divinity. How's that going?
It's actually going well. It's just, I feel like it's a little hard to bring in content when it's trying to find that balance. Like I had my content video come out at the beginning of January, and then I just got loaded with 3 projects like out of thin air, and I took all of them, and I think I pretty much did them within a week. I did have a Ghost project coming out. I have an LG Apex montage coming out, which I finished today and yesterday, and I just did Jarvis's video. But in a way, it's like hard to kind of break off and do content when you're so, you've always been so focused as an editor, and like it's all about like kind of trying to figure out, do you need that money or do you not need that money, in a way, because I don't really do it as much for the cloud as I did before.
Right.
I mainly do it to benefit myself and improve my portfolio, as well as I own a house, so I have to pay for that too. So I try to figure out what I can do to kind of like set aside what I want to do as my, kind of for fun, to where what you have to do that's serious. Like, you can do like mini edits here and there, or you can focus on improving your portfolio and getting a higher reward, you know, with a bigger team or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of, you have to kind of balance it in a way.
There's a lot of
I'll
planning.
also say this for Divinity as well.
Mhm.
I've said this to him before, but he doesn't ever really acknowledge it. But I'll say this again though, is that for sure, like, I can count on one of my hands that there's people in this community that have probably ever worked as hard as Divinity has for what he has. Like, I've never seen someone work so fucking hard for what he wants.
Yeah,
It
I
is
love you. Okay.
It is insane the shit this guy goes through to like get what it's like. I don't want to go into detail because I don't know how much he wants people to know, but the things I know is like this dude, like, he will do anything if he knows it's worth it. Like, he will go to the ends of the earth. He's like, if it's like even just for like a little bit of clout, it's
This
like
is
it's like
my
a little,
son.
even if it's like self satisfaction. He'll go to no, like, he works so fucking hard.
Yeah, I love you, Jesse. Thank you. I appreciate that.
And if
Like-
you want something, then you got to go for it.
Yeah,
Make
Like,
that
I'm
happen.
telling you, like, back in the Phase Project era when he was doing like all those Phase projects, like 3 times a month or whatever, this dude was getting like 4 hours of sleep a day at max, like maximum 4 hours. Like, this dude, and like he would take naps where he would edit for like so hours and take a nap for like 2 hours and then edit, and then work all day his actual IRL job and then come home, edit, little nap, edit, little nap, go to work. It's like a it just fucking all the time. It wasn't like a break or anything. was
Thank
crazy.
you, dude. I appreciate that.
It's nuts, dude. I'm like to this day still like in shock of how I don't know how you did that. I couldn't do it. There's no way.
I feel like that's actually a nice topic to kind of branch into with like
Yeah.
time management, because I know a lot of people struggle with that. Like I see people focus on projects. There's not really any names I can say with this. This is just kind of an overall assumption of what I kind of see, you know, on Twitter. People spend, you know, 2 weeks on a montage, you know, a month on a montage, and they perfect all these little details, which is really good. But you have to come to a point where like you have to think, is this going to help advance my career spending a month on this montage even though I perfected it, or can I try harder and put more time? You know, it kind of comes down to how much time are you really putting into the project. Like, could you get it done sooner? Because if you can get it done sooner, that gives you time to put more work out and build more of a portfolio to showcase your work. And if you want to advance into this industry where you joining a high tier esports organization or editing studio, you know, in your local town or something, like, or city, wherever. But it
That's
kind of
what I
helps.
expected.
Exactly. It's the exact same concept. You have to kind of like, he also told me about this too, where I was spending so much time on little fine details and stuff, but I have to remember, like, I got to take more projects to, you know, get a higher, you know, profit of money to, you know, I want to upgrade things too. You know, we all have needs in life. You know, you want to upgrade things to help yourself, you know, get a better computer. If you want that, you know, work
Yeah.
harder, get better time management, get more projects out and more clients, and then it helps to, you know, you snowball into a fucking machine and you just start making, you know, this money and getting better with your time management, and it kind of just works itself out. But you just have to keep that discipline with yourself. It's possible. It's not, there's really no excuse unless you're, you know, there's something extremely severe where you can't, you know, it's uncontrollable, you can't help it. But really is no excuse to pumping out more work.
For sure. That's why I always like to say, when people say, how long is this going to take you or whatever, and, you know, most people be like, oh, a month, a couple weeks. But, like, how long is that really? I break it down into hours.
Exactly.
You know?
It really is not ideal, and it kind of reflects upon you. Like, it doesn't reflect upon your client, it reflects upon you. Like, you're not going to, you know, you're not going to advance that way in any sense. So I don't know. I feel like I can kind of, it was kind of help. I was kind of forced into the time management thing when I got a place with my girlfriend because we were long distance and she moved up here, and I work full time, so it was a little easier. I work 40 hours a week, 8 days. 8 hours a day, and I come home. I work second shift, so this is my schedule. So I wake up at I try to wake up at 12. I get an hour and a half of editing, shower, go to work from 3 to 11. I get home at 11:30. I work from 11:30 till 5:36 in the morning. I sleep, try to get up early sometimes to get more stuff done. It's not really the most healthy thing, but right now there's some things that I specifically want out of my career that I want to work my hardest with, because the community is popping right now. I'm not gonna lie, it's big, and I always think eventually this can die one day. So I want to be able to make the money I can now, which falls back on my time management. It's how much time I put into my everyday to get where I want to be, So
Yeah, it's grind time, baby.
exactly. It is grime time. You never know what's going to happen, and I want to be able to get a solid portfolio to build myself if I eventually want to escalate into bigger industry. And it's baby steps. You start with a small team, you get into an esports team, you meet connections, and you can branch out from there. It's kind of the same way Kazi did with Star Wars and Lucasfilms. So not Lucasfilms, but the studio that he works for.
Really quick, I just want to say too, I'm not gonna, so when I say this, Ryan, don't think I'm gonna say everything. I'm just small detail. Like, so there was a situation where I was like, where Ryan had this opportunity for something, and I was like, dude, like, you could do this and you wouldn't have to, like, if you do this, you don't have to work you wouldn't have to work your job, right? And he was like, nah, like, I'm in my 20s, I want to work full time and get all this shit. I was like, dude, you could literally just be an editor and you wouldn't have to work at IRL job. You could literally just be an editor and make that your career. But it's like, nah, I want to do both. Like, I want to make it both my thing. Which I was like, for me, I was like, no, I'm doing one or the other, dog. I'm not doing both of those.
Yeah, but it helps. Like, it really helps having two incomes at once. Like, it's, if you want to like bring it into another topic about like what was it, like if you want to have editing as your main career, you got to take a look on your life. Like, I have a full-time job. I'm not going to give my full-time job up, because editing, you don't have benefits, you don't have healthcare, dental, a 401k, like, which is what I have at my full-time job. When you're in editing, you're self-employed. You have to rely on people to get your money. How strict are you? Are you on top of your client work? Could you be better? I would not suggest, if you really want to make this your only job, get to the level of making this your job. Don't be one of those extreme risk takers. Have a plan for yourself. Like, don't just quit your fucking job out of thin air and be like, yeah, I made like $200 on a client work last week. I'm going to start, making this my full-time job because it makes a lot of money. $200 in 1 week, it's $400 or whatever. You can't think that way. You kind of have to think like, am I in a really, good place in the community to get clients consistently? And if possible, am I going to have, do I have any connections to branch out in case these clients aren't working? You have to have like an extra step for whatever you're doing with everything. It kind of helps that way.
Totally.
Well, really quick, you know what situation I'm talking about, right, Ryan?
Yeah.
Okay, so that situation is a little bit different than what he just said, but it's still the same concept. Yeah. That's when I say that the situation I was talking about wasn't the same. Like, I'm not, like, if I got offered $200 for a client project for 2 weeks, I'm not gonna quit my job.
No.
I just want to make that clear.
Yeah. But there are definitely people like that out there. I see where they make a bad It's kind of a good way to see them, because to see their failure. That's not good to see their failure, but it's kind of like take it in as your own lesson that you didn't have to make yourself, and learn from their mistakes so you don't do that yourself. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I've been noticing like a really sort of like a large like I don't know mindset I guess in the community recently is everybody's realizing that you can make a lot of money off of this and make it a
Oh yeah,
job.
absolutely.
So I get messages all the time of like how do I find clients, like where do I start, blah blah blah,
Mhm.
and so it's like a lot of people because it's a really ideal, like it's fun to do, it's their hobby and they can make money
Yeah.
from it. It's like why wouldn't you? And we're young, it's like good start
Mhm.
early. So like if you have any tips for people trying to find clients, start out editing, what should they do?
I feel like if you want to start getting into clients, start like pumping out more content to show people what you can do. You can't really expect a client to like assume that you're a good editor, even though you probably have the skill set. I would recommend to get more clients, kind of branch into different fields to show that you can do more than just montages. Do montages, do motion work, do apparel motion work. There's so much to do as a video editor. Do stream assets like alerts, notifications, sub things, like everything to show that you are a multi-talented individual that can do everything, and the clients just kind of come to you the more various work you put out. It's a nicer variety for a client to look, rather than, oh, he can just do a montage. That limits you to only people who want montages. What compared to if you can do everything, you can have clients from all those different fields. And to get those clients after you kind of showcase your work more, you can kind of like do Restrict made a video on this, which actually is what I used to do as well. You can go into like the search bar on Twitter and just type video editor, and it'll come up with people who need video editors. And even if they're small clients, take advantage of that, because they're not going to be hardcore on your ass like a big client would be. Like big client meaning, like I would say like LG is my big client or something like that. Like go hardcore on their small client work to help build yours while you're also making a profit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
Also,
it helps.
Just want to say this too, is that in my opinion, people in this community are really impatient with progression, and
Mhm.
so, like, if I were to say a starting point for getting clients is like, again, that video that Restrict made is really good, like how he does his process. But also the thing too is like he lives a very grindy lifestyle, so like you have to consider, like, when you do that, you got to be changing your whole life basically.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you really want it, like you get down and strap yourself to it.
Yeah. What I was gonna say though is that outside of that is, on the topic of being impatient, people being like, just wanting things to go faster than they actually are, is that I don't think people realize this. I've said this about COD editing too. This goes in every aspect in life in general, anyways. Like literally, I put this in perspective of everything I do in life is everything will come in time. Like you don't nothing can happen overnight.
You can't expect things to fall into your hands.
Yeah.
Which I see way too much on Twitter. It's fucking annoying.
Right?
Exactly.
So if you get into like content editing and you want clients and stuff, I would say make a show reel and then work with some small people, and then maybe don't do it all the time because it'll make you look it'll be off-putting, and it'll become annoying if you just spam your work to people all the time. But when you see a good opportunity that's actually realistic, put your portfolio or your show reel or whatever, and then just wait for the right person to see it, and then boom, right there you have the perfect opportunity to snowball.
Yes, exactly.
One opportunity.
Like if someone, like I'm adding on to what Jipscy said, like if someone big were to see your work, reach out to them, like ask if you want, work with them. Don't ask for money, like do it for free, because it gives you an opportunity to help build yourself and get connections that way. Like you're not, you're asking them because you want to work with someone big, but at the same time, you're also benefiting yourself to advancing into more clients that way, because you can show that you've worked with these big people,
For sure.
So it helps.
Another thing with that too, it kind of a different situation, but if a big person community comes up to you, you're small still, and they want you to edit something for them,
do it.
Exactly, but also when you're doing it though, don't do it right away. But when you're doing it, don't be afraid to ask if there's a payment situation. Obviously, don't expect it, but don't not ask for it, because if you don't, they're gonna expect you to do everything for free for them.
Yeah,
So
that's very true.
bring it up at some point. Say, hey, is it possible I could get paid for this? If they say no, just say, okay, that's fine. But if they come back to you again and they ask you to do something, say, is it possible I can get a payment for this? I can give you a discount if you something you want to do anyways. It can give you a discount, but I want payment this time. So don't get taken advantage of, but also don't be a hard ass. Like, take opportunities.
Yeah, know your worth.
Exactly, know your worth. I like that. You
Well,
really have to.
It's almost been an hour, so if anybody has any last minute questions, please say them in the
It's
chat.
only been an hour?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It was a fun talk. I like talking like that.
And
Thank
thank you guys. Thank you guys for coming on. That's about it. You guys actually went on a lot of topics that I was having in my head just on your own. So good job.
First
Also,
software, Windows
I
Movie
want to
Maker.
backtrack a lot real quick about one situation too. When I was my story when I started editing, I wouldn't bring this up too because I would feel bad if I didn't. Back before I joined Red, when I released that edit for Yukoi on that Inter team Taj.
Oh
When that came out, I was in a call with Divinity, and I was like, "Man, I really hope." Or I was talking about Owen or something, and you know what this call is, Ryan?
Oh my god!
I was like, "Dude,
this is how a friend is."
I was like, it completely just like off topic. I was just like, it'd be so cool if like Owen saw my edge or something, and he was like, "Give me a couple minutes," and I was like,
Oh, is that how we found it?
Yeah, and then like the next morning, I woke up with a follow from Owen and also a comment from him on my video.
That's funny.
That was, and like I said, like Owen was like, and to this day is still like my number one. Like he's the top of the top for me. Like I watch his edits like almost every day. So when that happened, I was like, holy fuck! Like I wasn't even ready yet. So that's how big it was for me. I was like, what the? So.
See, I kind of want to quickly branch into that too. Like, when you get big and you start getting more clients, and a situation comes up like this where Jesse was on the rise, was able to help motivate him, and give him have him allowed to talk to his inspiration, which I was able. I knew before I knew Jesse, which kind of have to help each other in this community.
Yeah.
Not trying to put everyone down. Because we all, give advice, help each other, stop, trash talking. You're not cooler than someone else being edgy. Just be nice. Just help each other. Give tips. You don't have to trash someone if you don't see something they've done bad. We've all done bad at one time. It just takes practice. So.
Yeah, that's one thing. I kind of before you end the stream too, I want to go on this topic like really badly because this is a thing I've actually wanted to talk about for a long time. So, and you can touch on this too, Ryan, if you want to. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I'm going to. I'm not going to... I don't want to be specific, but I think a lot of editors in the community they could be nicer people, specifically to editors, newer editors anyways, not old editors. Like specifically people who are just starting to edit. Like, these big editors who've been around for a long time are very, very
egotistical. Sorry,
they're full. They think of themselves very highly, and so they trash on everyone around them. And what that happens is that when these new people come around the community, it's very discouraging for them to stay around. They're like, "What the fuck? I don't want to deal with this. I'm not going to edit anymore."
And stop fucking trash talking them. Like, fucking guide them. You're the biggest ones in the community. Like, don't you want this shit to stay around? Like,
exactly.
And then like a week later, like, editing's dead. It's like, bro, you're the reason why. Shut up.
You are the reason why.
If you help them get better, if you encourage them, they'd be motivated to do so and would.
Yeah, exactly.
We would have an actual community, but now like we're down like 75% of the editors we had before, and it's because of them.
That's a big thing going on with teams these days is they want, because of the lack of very, very good editors as there were a couple of years ago, they focus on getting content out faster at a lower quality, but like decent enough you can get over, but more uploads at a lesser quality than they were before, and it's kind of sad because it's sort of it's not really possible to get better editors all the time.
I agree.
Like, everyone, I'm pretty sure everyone in this stream and in this call can recall back to any Dreams edit, any Unchained edit, any Zant edit. Anyone in this call or stream could be like, dude, like I know all their edits. I know most of their edits, but now there's no one like that because everyone's forced to just like push out
Exactly.
all the time because nothing's like the best it can be because it's like there's such short deadlines for everything now.
Yep.
Which I understand for certain situations, but when it's unrealistic, when like you're in a team and there's no need for a rush, they're just rushing it just to get it out because they're impatient. They're just it makes it so unmoving because the editor doesn't want to do it, makes it crap. No one's gonna remember it. There's no importance to it. Everyone's gonna seem like, oh, that was cool, I guess, whatever. That's a huge thing right now. Is that there's just no motivation to like improve right now.
So basically, if you guys like see anyone, you know, getting trash talk, just help defend them. Don't curse at the person who's doing the trash talking. Just be like, why can't you just guide them, help them out, give them tips? Don't have to talk down on them because it just kind of makes you look like an ass.
Treat everyone just like they're your equal.
Yeah, exactly.
I literally treat everyone like they're my friend as long as there's no, like, with me, if someone crosses me, I usually don't interact with that person ever again because I'm just like, this person is just not worth interacting with. But when it's someone I've never met before, I treat everyone like they're my friend. I'm like, yo, we're cool. Like you and I are homies. I'll fucking help you out through the end of the earth, dude.
Exactly. Like, you've done nothing wrong to me. Let's be friends.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, dude, we're homies. You want to join Obey? No, I'm joking.
This was a good talk, though. Thanks for having us on, Koi.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it. This has been really successful so far. This is the 3rd episode. I already got a couple more planned with some guests, so I hope you guys stay tuned for those. The sort of dates are still pending because obviously you have to like figure out what time we're all available. As we did today was the first time we did it on a Sunday.
Yep.
But I hope this time is okay. I'm not sure if like maybe like UK people are like sleeping or whatever, so I don't know if you want to do it early or whatever. So let me know. But so far it's been good. So far the only thing I've been told is to try and figure out how to do it on Spotify, and I'm not entirely sure. It seems like a little bit more complicated than I was initially hoping, so I have to figure that out after a little while. But yeah, again, thank you guys for coming on. Maybe you can promote yourselves real quick, Jipscy.
Oh, promote myself? Follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/ or just at JUPSCY. It's my name, but with a U instead of an I. It's kind of funny, but also, I should be having an edit coming out soon, somewhere near you, and then I should be working on some new stuff very soon, very, very soon, if you guys are interested in that. So follow me on Twitter.
Awesome. Yeah, and just drop a follow on Twitter for me at LG Divinity, coming out with a Ghost project and an Apex montage for LG soon. And I'd really like to thank Jipscy and Koi for having us on, or Koi for having me on, both you guys for saying such kind words. I really appreciate it. This was great. Thank you.
Thank you, Koi.
Are Trickstar and Tyler still here? Hello?
I think they're gone.
Are they gone?
Yo, phase up.
Phase up.
I mean, you guys can say bye too if you want.
Goodbye, stream. Thank you, and don't forget to save the